Hey everybody, welcome to today's lesson. We're going to be working on solving two-step equations that are slightly more complex. So kind of building upon yesterday's lesson, we are trying to solve for the variable, isolating the variable using two-step equations. An important term to remember is that we are going to use inverse, aka opposite operations to solve these equations. So we're going to be doing subtraction, addition, division, and multiplication, right? Opposite operations. So let's look at problem number 1. We see here that we're led with a problem that's starting with a constant. We have 5 minus 3x equals 20, right? So we're going to undo the constant, and we're going to do that because we see that in front of the 5, we don't see a positive or negative, but we're going to assume it's a positive. So the opposite of addition is subtraction. So we're going to subtract 5 on both sides. These two cancel themselves out on the left side, and we know that 20 minus 5 equals 15. So we're left with negative 3x equals 15. Step number 2 for this equation is to do this. We're going to undo the constant, which is the negative 3. So we know the opposite of multiplication is going to be division. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 3. So I have negative 3x divided by negative 3. Those cancel themselves out. We're left with x. And we know that 15 divided by negative 3 equals negative 5. And that is our answer. You could always substitute the negative 5 into the original equation to do your check to make sure everything equals out. But that will give you negative 5 as our answer. And remember, what you do on one side of the equation, we do on the other side to balance it out. Problem number 2, we have our problem that has the coefficient as a fraction. So we have 3/4 x minus 5 equals 13. We're going to undo and get rid of our constant. In this case, the constant is negative 5. The opposite of the opposite of subtraction is addition. So we're going to add 5 on both sides of the equation. These two cancel themselves out. We're left with 3/4 x. We know that 13 plus 5 equals 18. So now what we're going to do is we have 3/4 x equals 18. We are going to get rid of this by multiplying this by 4/3, right? We're going to do that on both sides. These two cancel themselves out, equals 1. We're left with the x. 18 is basically the same as 18/1, and we're multiplying 18 times 4 equals 72. 3 times 1 as a denominator equals 3. So we have 72 divided by 3, and that's going to give us 24 as our answer. Same thing as in problem number 1. Substitute 24 into the original equation, and that will give you the check to make sure we're doing this correctly, which we are. Problem number 3, we have this x plus 5 over 3, right? It's like a fraction, equals 8. So we're going to undo the constant. In this case is a division. The denominator is a 3. So we're going to multiply both sides by 3, right? The multiplying of 3 over this expression over 3 cancels that out. We're left with x plus 5 equals 24 because we know 8 times 3/1 is the same as saying 8/1 times 3/1, which equals 24. Remember, what we do on one side of the equation, we do to the other. So we're left with x plus 5 equals 24. We know that the opposite inverse operation, reverse operation of plus 5 is negative 5, and we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. We're left with x equals 19, right? So what we're going to do is just make sure you're substituting your value, which is, we know that x equals 19, to make sure that we are doing our checks and balances. Please refer to your resources on the scaffold and our resources page so you can make sure that you are double checking for what is the constant, what is a variable, right? To make sure we get our wording and parts of your equation correct. And I wish you all the best on your must do and your exit ticket. You guys got this.